We would just like students to realize that they themselves can make a difference as a one, because with one in Student Government Association, you can incur several different other students who will stand behind you and support you on the initiatives that you are passionate about. And so that is one point that we would like others to see within the Student Government Association and give them a power and a desire and a drive to be engaged.
Thank you. And I'll pass the same question on to Allie and Emily.
Thank you very much for asking that question. Well, we have an entire section, it's our second section of our platform, about empowering your voice. Specific platform items that we mentioned: the buddy system between Missouri State students and international students. We'd like to create a floor for students who don't feel comfortable identifying as a female or a male, or possibly if they're of the LGBT community, we'd like to create a floor for them so that they don't have to deal with certain cases on a case-by-case basis. We would also like to make sure that diverse students are on university committees. Right now, there's a lot of students who are on cabinet and SGA on those university committees. Although they're qualified, and that's fantastic and that's great, we think we can engage more students and empower their voices by speaking directly to those administrators who are helping the students make those decisions.
I think with our Ultimate Fair program, that would also showcase organizations. They would be more aware to other organizations on campus, as well as our communication section of the platform talks about different ways that we can reach out to the student body, but also ways they can reach out to us, including having a comment box on the website. We also have an idea of showcasing a student or student organization in one of our newsletters. We have several ideas, such as those, that we can engage our students and have them engaged with us as well.
Do we have more time? Okay. Furthermore, I think we've already exhibited that we are interested in the needs of those students who aren't necessarily the best represented for whatever reason that may be, as we did speak with those two specific organizations for 30 minutes of our time. And we all know during a campaign season, that's not time's a precious thing during a campaign season. We know that we have those connections with those students. We know that as two dynamic leaders and hopefully if elected instilling a dynamic cabinet, we would engage those students by making more connections at student organizations meetings, by visiting those students. We know that Vice President Mellish and President Sweat visited all of the GEP classes, and we'd like to do the same.
Thank you. And was there a question on the left? There's two. Who had their hand up first? Okay.
Okay. Retention rates were mentioned earlier, and I was just wondering what specific items you have on your platform that you think will help increase retention rates.
Okay, we'll start this question with Allie and Emily. And did you both hear the question?
Yes, I think so. I think we referred to this Ultimate Missouri State Fair program quite a bit, because I think it could be something that could transform the face of our university in the way that we interact with one another. I think that in order to retain those students, as a sorority leader, we talk about retention a lot and how valuable those students are to our university, and how those leaders can instill that value in the students as well. I think that by implementing this Missouri State Ultimate Fair program, students would feel engaged. They would feel like they mattered. They would feel like, oh my gosh, with the campus yearbook, for example, oh my gosh, there's my picture. I'm on the campus yearbook. That is so cool. I love Missouri State. I'm going to buy some more bearwear. Or, for example, by instilling the bookstore rewards program, we'd like to instill some type of punch card system, possibly incurring points by swiping a zip card for every purchase. We think that by instilling that bear pride, by being able to sport our university's logo, letters, things like that, that students will feel prideful of Missouri State and want to be here. Also, I think a really important issue, we talked about billboards in our platform. We want to instill some epic billboards. Would you actually talk about that, Emily?
Sure, we have a few ideas about billboards that would welcome students back to Springfield, whether that be from the St. Louis direction or the Kansas City direction, and those billboards could have a message such as, the Bears are back in town, and that would just help students kind of get, riled up. They're back in town, maybe not riled up, but excited to be back in town. If they had like a long weekend, they have some schoolwork that they're coming back to work on, that can maybe raise their spirits. Also, we have a theme of inclusivity within our platform, and I think making students from those diverse groups feel welcome and feel like they're a part of the integrated into the campus life, I think that's also a very important aspect of our platform.
Thank you. I'll pass the
believe that the retention rate that would be incurred currently through the Missouri State University lays within the organizations or specifically the BEAR program that would be able to be implemented. I believe that what's currently happening is students cannot financially support a four-year university, and that's extremely, extremely apparent. You know, with the current 7% budget cuts that are coming and might be incurred by the university, our legislators are working hard in Jeff City to ensure that we as students can receive as much funding as possible. It comes back to finances, and that is exactly what Emily and I seek to address and tackle head on. We specifically bring this up within our taking the stance on budget cuts to ensure that student organization or certain funding is going to the right places, as well as increasing the amount of funding that we hopefully provide to the A+ graduates to encourage strong leaders to come onto our campus. Also, we address the donut hole students, and that is an extremely huge issue within the retention rate. And for those of you who are unaware, donut hole students are the ones that fall in the middle. They are the ones who aren't receiving enough, they're not within the higher class to receive enough funding from their parents or be able to sustain it themselves, and within the lower class that are receiving a lot of funding and financial support through the government. That donut hole student and addressing these issues on a larger scale basis within Jeff City is going to be what's going to really, really highlight and tackle the retention rate.
And I also very strongly agree with Scott. I don't feel like you can increase retention by increasing billboards or punch card programs. However, what you can do is you can see what their needs are and meet them. And we're saying that we're doing this through financial means, as well as we're looking at credit hours. You should be able to graduate with 120 credit hours. 15 hours a semester, that adds up to 120 over 4 years. That very clearly would make sense, and that's something that Scott and I are really interested in working with the administration on.
Thank you. We have question number 5.
Yeah, we've started talking about budget cuts somewhat, but what I'm curious about is budget cuts in terms of how they're going to affect the university, specifically academic programs, and I don't know how much of that will happen, but if it does become a reality, how can SGA work to kind of keep safe the diversity of academic programs that we offer?
We'll start with, whose turn is it to start? Scott and Emily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. One point that we have on our platform that addresses that concern is that we were really interested in working with other universities throughout the area, throughout Missouri. If they're on, the terrible occurrence that a program has to get cut and a student needs to finish a program or something of that nature, that they will be able to do so and that we can provide them the information in order for that to happen. We definitely don't want to cut programs that are very important to students, have a high numbers of completion, which I don't think the university would plan on doing that anyway. But it's something that we definitely need to talk to students about, make sure that what's important to them isn't going to be cut, what their needs are and that they're met, and the main things that students are able to have a say in this process.
And specifically with ensuring that funding is coming for those programs, we would like to work with the Missouri State Legislature in creating grassroots campaigns within strong student coalitions, and specifically looking at every single student to make their own initiative, lobby within Jeff City, and really work strong and hard to communicate with these individuals. We were lucky to be in Student Government Association when the representative from our district, Sarah Lampy, came and spoke to us about exactly what was occurring in Jeff City. And unfortunately, the news isn't good, she stated. And because of this, we as students have an opportunity. We have an initiative that we can back and stand behind as long as we rally together. And that's, again, another key point that we would seek to look at within the student body, and ensuring that these programs have enough funding, that specific programs that have a lot of high interest for students are having a strong representation in Jeff City, and working with the Budget Committee on that, because Sarah Lampy is the representative from this district. She's willing to work with students. She was my principal in elementary school. She's a great lady, and she will work strong with us.
Thank you. And I'll pass the question on to Allie and Emily.
Could you